Yo, people, welcome to the show. This is episode 3 of SAS Football with your co-host, Safu and Sniper. Um, Please hit the comment, hit the like button, subscribe, all that jazz. We're going to keep it coming on a weekly basis. We just finished game week 1, and now we're about to preview game week 2. Here with my co-host, Safu. How you doing?
All good, all good. I can get used to these games coming thick and fast right now. Break, so it's good to start the season again.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if there's any breaking news this week, but there's a lot happening in the transfer market. Chelsea closing the Caicedo deal, Chelsea closing the Lavia deal, Olise falling through. So I think those are the biggest ones this week.
Yeah, but also I know that the market's still open for another 2 weeks. There's going to be some major changes. We see teams getting hit with injuries from everywhere, so I think this market is still going to be very useful to a lot of teams.
Yeah, I think let's get straight into it, like the weekend's fixtures. There's some big games coming up this weekend. We got Chelsea West Ham at the London Stadium, Olympic Stadium on Sunday. We have Arsenal Palace on Monday. We got Spurs and United on Saturday. City and Newcastle on Saturday as well. It's coming. The Premier League is back with a cracker. I think let's get started on Chelsea's side. Chelsea traveling to West Ham, coming off the 1-1 draw with Liverpool last week. I think, honestly, I'm expecting 3 points this weekend. I'm going to be honest. Um, Going there with some chest. I think Chelsea looked good. I think we spoke about it. Chelsea looked good against Liverpool last week. Some question marks about the attack. I know there's some news coming out about Reece James potentially being out for a couple of months. That's a very big blow. But it's not as a big of a blow as it would have been last season. Last season we Chelsea didn't really have any cover for Reece James. Now they've obviously invested in Gusto at right back. He's still very young, very raw, but based on what we've seen in pre-season, and also Gusto came on against Liverpool. He looks like a good backup, and I think he could be a proper baller in the next couple of years. So it's not like I said, I would be a lot more disheartened if it was last season and we didn't really have cover for Reece James. So I think it shouldn't. I think that attacking threat from right back will be impacted slightly, but I think Gusto will be a good deputy and will deputize pretty well. Um, I'm hoping to see Caicedo in the midfield with Enzo. I don't know if he'll start. I know he's had this whole week to train, but yeah, really look.
He has to start.
He has to start, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he has to start. I don't know if Lavia will also start. I don't think they'll go with a 4-3-3.
Was Lavia officially announced by Chelsea yet?
I believe Lavia was done.
I know it was done, but I don't know if it was officially announced by like Chelsea.
I think I should be officially announced by this weekend. The payment structure, the deal was agreed with Southampton. So I don't know if they've officially announced it. I think it's just a matter of time now. But yeah, I think it might be too early for Lavia. But yeah, I think if Caicedo comes straight in, and I'm really looking forward to see that pivot in Enzo and Caicedo. I hope Jackson gets his first goal this weekend. Maybe Mudrik might start. I'm not sure. So we'll see. But yeah, looking forward to this weekend. Looking forward to 3 points. I think West Ham drew to Bournemouth last week 1-1. So they didn't have the best of starts also. But where I think West Ham has been a bit of a bogey team. Chelsea haven't really won at their ground in a couple of years also. We didn't win last year for sure. I know that. So yeah, but I'm hoping we get our first 3 points of the season. So yeah. Um any
Looking
any
in,
any thoughts?
yeah, looking into it, I think it's going to be an interesting game. We know West Ham still have the Declan Rice money that they haven't spent. I think they only bought one player, so far.
I think they bought that Edson Alvarez from Ajax.
Yeah,
Uh,
so and now I know they're looking at Kudus. They're looking at that Doku, the same player City is looking at. So I think West Ham, in my opinion, should have obviously been more proactive, but it's also difficult when every club knows now you have 105 million to spend.
I saw
So,
they in for that Mavropanos as well.
oh, is
Um,
it? Okay.
yeah,
I'm asking. Yeah,
yeah, I previously at Arsenal, I believe.
previously at Arsenal.
Yeah,
He never really got good game time or anything, but I know he's apparently been doing well in Germany. I haven't watched much of his games, to be honest, but I actually it'll be interesting to see what type of player he comes in his in the Premier League. It's very
yeah,
different gameplay. But I wanted to go back on 2 points. Firstly, Olisi, the deal falling through. That was a good. I think the Chelsea fan base was getting a bit too excited with Saicedo, Lavia, Olisi. I think they needed that, a bit of humbling, I would say.
yeah.
Um, Other than that, I wanted to also mention the Reece James, the injury. Look, this guy we know he can be best in the world when he's playing and fit,
Yeah.
but he's never fit. And now you'll give him the club captaincy. When's the point where Chelsea fans are gonna realize this guy is not reliable and he's always out every season with either a long-term injury or multiple injuries during the season?
No, but I think Chelsea fans have realized it, and I think the club have realized it. Reece James is not reliable. I mean, yes, he's a great player. He's great at right back. He's one of the best in the world in that role when he's fit. But he's not like for the last, I believe, 3 seasons or 2 seasons, he's been out injured. Actually, for the last three, this is the third season that he's out injured, that he has an injury trouble. And the fact that they've bought Gusto, who's a decent deputy, shows that there are
You
some question marks about his reliability. And look, I think I touched on it in one of the previous episodes that he is a injury concern. Like we know he's had his fair share of injuries. I'm just hoping we get to a point where this is behind him. Young players sometimes do have these injuries as they're coming through the ranks, and especially still early on in their careers. But they usually get past it. But some don't. Some don't, like the Diabis, the Wilshires.
he's reminding me a lot like Wilshere.
Is
Wilshere
he?
had that one big one, but then ever since after that, he had the small ones that continued coming.
Yeah. So
So
so so so yeah. So I think it's not like I'm not gonna. I'll be honest, like there's no, I think the realization is already kicked in that Reece James does have injury concerns, and we're just hoping that he can get this is just a blip, and he gets past it, and it stays behind. But we know
so
that.
two questions then. Do you feel comfortable with Gusto? Okay, maybe okay, this season I can understand if you're comfortable with him because you just got one game a week. You don't have compete for the Champions League. You have no competitions in Europe. So understandably, yes, you can feel comfortable with him in the smaller games, but how do you feel if you have to start Gusto away at City or away at United? Do you think he has the capability of holding his own?
I think Gusto, so I'll be honest, like if I had to answer now based on what he is right now, I think he has potential to be a great player, a good cog in the team. Like I think he has potential to develop into a main player in a title challenge team. Right now, away at City, away at Arsenal, I think he would just have to just be solid defensively as his primary goal and responsibility. I don't think you can place any additional responsibility like you do with Reece James in terms of getting forward, in terms of whooping in those crosses, in terms of coming into midfield at times, mopping up defensively as a CDM at times. I don't think you can place that responsibility or expect that kind of, at work from him right now. So no, I don't. I think if Reece James is out for the season, I hope he's not. But I think it's a big blow in terms of our aspirations. Well, this season, like you said, it's one game a week. It's Premier League. It's tough. It's tough to say. But in future, yeah, I think it will be. It'll be a massive blow if Reece James isn't fit. Like if we play in the Champions League, we're challenging for the Premier League, Champions League on all those fronts. I don't know if Gusto right now is ready to do that or will be ready to do that.
I mean, I've said it before. I think your team all round, if you all get a goal scorer, you should not have any excuse not to challenge for the league
Yeah,
this
I
season.
agree. I agree. I mean, apart from if we're gonna assume that Caicedo comes in and he's like a duck in water next to Enzo,
It
then
doesn't matter if it's a duck in water. You can't spend 115 million on a player and say you don't have expectations for it. Let's be serious.
we have expectations,
Yeah,
but you have to be realistic also. You're going up a team that's won the treble. You're going up against a machine in Erling Haaland who scored what 36 goals last
I'm
season.
not saying you should win the league. I'm saying you should challenge for the league. I think you
I
should
agree.
be
Oh,
up.
no, if you're saying if we get a goal scorer, someone who's guaranteed to score us 20, 25 goals a season, I agree that Chelsea should be mounted title challenge. I agree.
Okay, that's fair. That's all I want to hear.
Agree.
That's all
Okay.
I want to hear.
Predictions for the Chelsea game. You gonna do predictions now or predictions in the end? I think we can do predictions now.
We can do it now.
I'll go first because it's Chelsea. I have Chelsea winning 1-0.
You're playing at the London Stadium. I think you'll get the job done. I'll go 2-1.
2-1. Okay. I think
One more
that
question. I need to ask you about Mudrik's comments. He came out and he compared himself to a certain Vinicius Jr. in his first season at Madrid.
I don't think he compared himself so much, but I do. Mudrik is known for being notorious on social media, getting called out by Joey Swole. Mudrik is just, I think in his first couple of games, he said he needs a new left back. So I think someone needs to sort out this guy's PR. Like his PR team needs to be sacked or whatever it is. But yeah,
This
I
guy,
think
he's
I would
interesting.
I would just take stuff on Mutrik's Instagram or social media with a pinch of salt. I'll be honest with you. So that's where I stand. I'm not reading too much into it.
Okay,
Uh,
fair enough. Fair enough.
so anyway, all right, let's get into Arsenal Palace. So Arsenal Palace Monday. I think it's on Monday night kickoff.
Monday
Uh,
night,
where
Palace,
we're playing.
Palace away, Sellers Park.
Not an easy venture, I must say. What are your thoughts? And don't forget about Tumba.
So I got a lot to say. Where to start? Where to start? So first of all, about the game, it's going to be a tough game. We know last season we were the opening game Friday night at Palace, which a lot of people said we made it look easy, but it was much harder than it actually looked. You could tell that we didn't have, as the season went on, we became better. So I know it's going to be a tough game. We don't have the best record at Sellers Park. Um, recently, yes, maybe last 2 seasons, I think, or the season before, we might have drawn there and then won last season. So it's not. I'm not expecting an easy game. I know we didn't start the season well. The way we played the first game, I expect to see something much better. If we play the way we played that first game, we're not coming out of Sellers Park with 3 points. I don't think so. We know we're coming up against Roy Hodgson, so look, he's been around for ages. He knows what the league's all about. He knows what he's coming up against. He knows how to drill his players. He knows basically everything. So it's not going to be an easy game. But having said that, I do expect us to come away with all 3 points. We can't not, like in our second game of the league, we can't fail at our first, not even big test, but first test. It's not a time to fail. So I do expect the win. I expect us to play better than last week. So if we can get those two things, I'll be happy. Regarding Timber, that's a tough one to take. We signed 3 players. Rice, Timber, Havertz, and now Raya, obviously. But I'm talking about the outfield players. We don't even know if Raya is going to be our starting number one at the moment.
We don't
You
know,
know?
yeah.
So I would say I was happy, like extremely happy about the Rice and Timber signing. Havertz one, jury's still out on that one. But to miss one of the players that basically starts for us right now is going to be a big blow. Because I see us as our replacements as probably only Tomiyasu that can come in there. Because Tierney doesn't look in favor with the manager right now. There's a lot of rumors that he's going to leave. So if Tomiyasu is coming in, look, he's capable of playing, but I think he doesn't offer us as much as Timbo or Zinchenko would offer us in that role, especially the way Arteta wants to play. I don't see Tomiyasu as a person that can come as an inverted left back in that role. Defensively, he's very good. Going forward, I don't think he's the best. So I think it'll be a massive miss. And Timber's out for 7 months. I can't see us not going to the market. Knowing Zinchenko's injury problems and knowing we have to compete in Champions League, Premier League, we got the 2 cups. I can't see us not going into the market.
Yeah, so I don't understand. I think the I'll touch on the Tierney point. I think the reason why the manager doesn't fancy Tierney is just he can't do the inverted fullback role, correct? So I don't
Yeah,
see and Tomiyasu is I don't see Tomiyasu doing that either. So
look, I can't understand. Maybe I'm not looking at this right, but I can't understand why Tierney can't play as an attacking fullback and invert White. White has played as a DM before, so he's
I don't think it's his preference to invert on the right hand side. If I'm being completely honest, I think it's his preference.
the only reason I see it is because he wants Saka to be that dominant winger. Every
Exactly.
game that we play, most of
Exactly.
the things come through Saka, right? Apart from last game, one attack came down the left, and Martinelli had to do some moment of magic to get the first goal. Well, assist Eddie
You
Nketiah.
mean the pass?
Yeah.
I don't think he meant the pass. I think he meant to get past the players, and
Oh,
he
I
passed.
didn't think he didn't mean the pass. No, he
No,
didn't
yeah, he
mean.
didn't mean the pass. Okay.
I don't think so. But regardless if he meant it or not, it paid off and
Mm.
pays
Yeah,
off in voice.
so I think to wrap it up, I think I don't want to spend too much more time, but I agree with you. We need to Arsenal probably do need to think about going to the transfer market to get someone that can invert on the left hand side. If Zinchenko, I don't know what's the latest with Zinchenko. Is he out for how long?
I don't even know.
Don't
He's
know
doing
exactly.
training, then he's playing in the Ukraine friendly game, but he's not
Yeah.
playing for us. So I don't
So
know.
yeah, I think there's question marks about Zinchenko that need to be clarified. Um,
But
but
it
yeah,
does like Arsenal are in the market for someone. I saw a tweet from Fabrizio today to watch out for Pavard and Arsenal.
okay, okay.
My
So yeah, I agree with you. I think there definitely need to be some activity there if the manager doesn't trust Tierney, and if Tierney is on his way out, then for sure, um, yeah, there needs to be
I
some.
know it looks like Monaco will be able to bid for Balogun. They just sold Fofana to Forest for 35 million, and
Okay,
they put in an offer of 40 million before that sale for Balogun. So it looks like they're offloading and then coming back for Balogun. So
what
if that
about
happens, we should have enough funds to buy at least another um, left back, centre back hybrid, whatever you want to call it. Um, but I will say, if it was up to me, I wouldn't let go of Balogun. I think this one can come back to bite us. I would rather get rid of Nketiah.
yeah? Well, clearly no one's gonna Nketiah's on 100K a week, so that's the other issue. Let me ask you, where is Havertz playing in midfield this week, or is he playing as a striker?
I know that we played against Luton today, and Trossard had 2 goals in that game. And Trossard's been putting in goals all through preseason. So I just don't see how Arteta's going to go without Trossard. He might go with Nketiah again up front. But at the same time, I don't know. I have no idea. I wouldn't personally play him up front. I would play him in midfield.
So is
Say Trossard,
Havertz is Havertz gonna sit on the bench this week?
if I was putting the team out there, Havertz would be on my bench. I
Yeah.
would not Havertz. I would start Partey, Odegaard, and Rice in midfield.
I know we've been harping up on this, like people have been harping on this. But if Harvard's my point that I'm trying to make is that if Harvard's on the bench, don't you think that 65 million could have been utilized for, a cover in defense or something then?
I've been singing that song since we signed up.
Yeah.
I
So
I never understood the signing. The only reason I back Havertz is because he's putting on an Arsenal shirt, and until he shows me that he's crap in an Arsenal shirt, I will back him.
yeah.
So
Okay.
that's where I stand on Havertz.
Let's what's the prediction for the game?
I'm gonna go. I think away from home is solid in defense, so I'll go 2-0 Arsenal.
I'll go 2-1 Arsenal. I think it'll be a similar scoreline to the Forest game. I think Palace will get a goal, but I think you'll have enough in attack to get away with it. So I think 2-1 Arsenal. All right, let's move on to the biggest game. So let's start off with Man United Spurs. Big game. United came away with a robbery, a fraudulent 3 points, as we say, at Wolves, at Old Trafford, actually. Wolves coming to Old Trafford and coming away with nothing. I don't know if you saw, but the referees who were in charge of the game have not booked the game this weekend.
I think
Um,
deserved. I mean, if players do things wrong, they're suspended, no? So why doesn't it work the same way with referees?
I agree, but I mean, it was the opening game of the opening round of games of the Premier League. We have VAR. I just feel like for these kind of blatant decisions, I mean, when it happened, everyone saw that it was a blatant penalty. So I don't understand how they're getting these kind of blatant decisions wrong. And when I say blatant decisions, I mean decisions to the point that when the game is concluded, they have to issue an apology and they don't get booked for next games. It's just ludicrous to me, knowing what all the technology we have today. Like, and these are professional refs, they supposed to know the rules inside out. And people like you and me are saying that, that looks like a blatant penalty. The commentators were saying it was a blatant penalty. So yeah, fraudulent 3 points Man United got away with. Spurs look decent, drawing 2-2 at Brentford. They look decent. I think, obviously losing Harry Kane is going to be a massive miss for them this season. I mean, that's minus 30 goals. It remains to be seen if they go into the transfer market and get a new striker, unless they want to put all their eggs in one basket with Richarlison, which I'm still on the fence there. But yeah, what do you make of it? Any thoughts for the game on Saturday? The Spurs United game?
I think it's gonna be. Are they playing at Old Trafford or at the Lane?
I think they're playing at the Lane. I think it's at the Lane. Spurs United is.
Yeah, they're playing at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Yeah, it's at the Lane.
I think it's gonna be an interesting game. Look,
Yeah.
Brentford are a tough team to play against. I think they're obviously tougher than Wolves or United's first game, and we saw United should have got better in that.
They should have.
As we spoke about it on the previous podcast. But I think this game it's a tough one to predict because I see Tottenham can run ragged over the United midfield, but they can't finish. And then you got United that can, if they counter attack with Rashford, they're gonna cause trouble to Spurs defense because I think it's gonna be attack versus defense here. United look like they very imbalanced in the midfield. Tottenham don't look as good at the back. The new signing they got, who was it? Van der Ven.
Again,
Yeah. He hasn't convinced me yet. The keeper hasn't convinced me yet. He was decent, but he had a few bozo moments in him. So I think the jury's still out on these two teams. The way they're gonna end up playing the season. But it's definitely gonna be an interesting one to watch. I'm looking forward to that one.
yeah, I think the thing with the Spurs United game is that, but for me, I just don't understand it. Is that last season, Man United were a transition team, right? They played on the counter attack. They sat and they counted. Now you've bought the likes of Mason Mount, Hoyland. Okay, Hoyland's injured, but Hoyland, Mason Mount, and they signed a new goalkeeper so they could play out from the back, essentially possession style football. And are they just going to come to Spurs and just sit and be reactive and sit on the back foot? Does that make sense? And how are we saying that their midfield is unbalanced? There's an imbalance in their midfield when they have $70 million quid Casemiro, Mason Mount, Bruno Fernandes, Christian Eriksen on the bench. I mean, I don't get it.
I just think it was a wrong signing for them.
I don't
Mason Mount just there to do cardio. Let's be serious.
I don't get it. I just don't get it. But I think I think if Spurs are gonna be the more proactive team, they're probably gonna get hit on the break. And I can see United coming away with 3 points. It can be Spurs dominating possession, missing a couple of chances, and United smashing them on the counter. But if Spurs attack turns up, I can see Spurs getting the 3 points in this game. So
I think Son has to play down the middle and Richarlison off the left. I just don't see how Richarlison plays down the middle. Son is so much better at making the runs. Granted, Richarlison's hold-up play is probably better than Son's, but the way Spurs played in the first game, I didn't see any or much hold-up play, not any. I didn't see much hold-up play. They were more playing in between the lines and running through.
Yes.
So I just see Son as a better fit for that. So I'm curious to see if he actually realizes that and moves Son down the middle and plays Richarlison from the left.
But who's a better finisher, Richarlison or Son?
Depends on the form. Son can be one of the greatest finishers. Richarlison, we saw at the World Cup what he can do. So it just depends.
Exactly. Who's more of a natural number 9? I would say Richarlison is more of a natural number 9 compared to Son. I still don't think that either one of them are number 9s, if I'm being honest.
I think we've seen Son out the left for all of last season. Last season he had a shocker. Let's call it what it is. Last season,
I mean, it can be down to Conte attacks in terms of, Basuma was out of the team also. So, you can say that the whole style of football didn't really suit the team anymore. And we do know that Conte, after a season or two, the players get tired of his tactics. So, we can put it down to that. But yeah, I think, long story short, what are you saying in terms of predictions for the Spurs United game? Set the lane.
I can't see a team winning this. I'm gonna go to a draw. I'll probably go for like either a 1-1 or 2-2. I'll go to 1-1 draw.
I'll go with a 2-2 then. If you're going 1-1, I'll go 2-2. But
I just don't see this team scoring 2.
I think look, honestly, Spurs conceded 2 at Brentford. I can see it happening again. And United should have conceded 2-3 against Wolves. So, there's that. All right. Anyway.
What I'll say is, just before we move on, look, last season was a transition season for Man United.
Yes.
But when they spent on Onana, 50 million, 40 million, they spent the 50 million on Mount. They
60.
spent the
55 on Mount. 55 rising to 60, yeah.
What is it, 60 on Højlund?
70
on Højlund. Look, they put money in. They were supposed to be a transition team last season, and then Haag learning the league, and we'll be back next year. We just need to stabilize the team.
That has come to an end.
Yep. So if United don't show up this season, we need to have a serious conversation.
I agree. We have to have a serious conversation about Ten Hag because he's getting his targets. Like Mason Mount, he wanted him at Ajax when Mount was at Vitesse. Onana was his keeper at Ajax.
Yeah, and don't forget Anthony too.
Oh, I don't know if we can spend a whole episode on Anthony after that performance against Wolves, but I think this is a big season for Anthony. Anthony has to show up this season. Anyway, maybe we should have a separate segment for this for United and Den Haag, but let's give it some time before we do that. Let's go on to City Newcastle. Big news out of the City camp. KDB out for roughly 4 to 5 months. He'll be back only in January. Quick question. if City hit 80 points this season, this is a question for you as an Arsenal fan. If City don't hit more than 80 points this season and Arsenal don't win the league, will that be a failure for you and Arteta this season?
Yes.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think we need to hit at least above 80 points. With KDB out, look, I'm fully expecting City to go to the market. There's no way City don't get a replacement in Paqueta. They will in for Doku. They're definitely getting someone. City are not just going to sit back. They need someone in that position. So I think they're going to get Paqueta. I think they're definitely going to get him. They'll throw the 100 million at him. I'm hoping West Ham stands strong though and ask for like 120 or something. But we know how
I saw they also in for that Doku, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think he's very different to what Pep usually has, right? So we know the wingers that Pep has right now. Well, what he had last season was Mahrez, he had Foden, Bernardo Silva, he has Grealish, and all those wingers are more ball carriers, like tiki taka. Doku is
Direct.
he goes. So he's a very different type of winger. So it'll be interesting to see how if they do get him, how Pep lines up with them. And he's a very different player to what Pep has been using in the past 1 to 2 seasons. The last time they had that was with Sterling and Sane.
Yes, yes. I agree. I was, but look, at the end of the day, this is City we're talking about. Treble winners. KDB out. Yes, it's a big blow, but the likes of young player of the year, Phil Foden, I believe he was young player of the year a year or 2 years ago, needs to step up. 100 million pound Jack Grealish needs to step up. He needs to. They need to start. They need to start putting some numbers on the board. There's Alvarez, World Cup winner Alvarez. I mean, let's not forget about Haaland. They should have enough firepower,
Look,
more than enough firepower in the tank.
at the end of the day, City, right?
Yes.
Greatest manager, arguably greatest
Arguably
manager
the greatest manager of all
ever.
time. Yes.
So there's no such thing as a transition period with City.
No.
Look, there's no such thing. They just signed Gvardiol for 90 million.
Yes.
I mean, they got money to spend. They can spend the money. Even if they don't sign someone, I fully expect Pep to turn a Foden or Bernardo Silva into one of the best players of the season. I've seen it so many times. Whether KDB gets injured, Gundogan comes in, steps up, and goes crazy. I've seen Foden step up into that role and become one of the best players in the season. Bernardo Silva, 2 seasons ago, some people were saying he's one of the best players in the Premier League.
I agree.
So
that game against Liverpool when he walked through when he walked through that team, I remember. Yeah, people were
very of course, but we know what these players are capable of. We've seen what players are capable of. So I fully
let's not forget Rodri, best DM in the world.
Okay, Rodri is he's making Rodri look better, and I thought that was impossible. Rodri going forward now is looking like a completely different player.
Completely different animal.
So look, at the end of the day, I fully expect City to be up there, regardless of who they have, who's injured. City just aren't going to be stopped. They just want to travel. They're adding players on top of it. I fully expect them to go to the market, but even if they don't, I still expect them to be fully up there, challenging for every competition. You just can't. You can't write City off. But going into the game, I mean, what's in Newcastle? It's not going to be an easy game. We know how Eddie Howe sets up. We know how Newcastle play. They're not going to stand down. They're not going to go down without a fight. So
that midfield three of Tonali, Joelinton, and Bruno, that's a fantastic midfield, and that can go up against City. Whether they'll come out victorious or on top, that remains to be seen. But that is a very, very strong midfield that can challenge most teams in the league. So, what's your prediction for the game?
I would go 3-1 City.
3-1 City.
Yeah, I think it's at the Etihad. If it was at St. James, it'll be a different story. But I think.
Oh, is it at the Etihad?
At the Etihad.
I thought it was at the St. Oh, I thought it was at St. James. Okay. Oh, it's at Etihad. I was gonna go bold and put Newcastle to win if it was at St. James, but I might have to change my mind now. What you have?
I got 3-1 City.
3-1. I'll go 2-0 City. I think City won't concede. Well, City looked a bit leaky in the Super Cup this week, but
But it's a Super Cup. They're gonna be tired also, so that's also another factor to take in. I don't know how the Premier League scheduled them for Wednesday and then a Saturday kickoff. That's a bit crazy, but
Premier
I
League.
got they on
I'll go 2-0 City. And yeah, let's see what happens. But I think we should anything else, or I think we should wrap it up there for this
I,
week.
th- I think we can wrap it up there. There'll be a lot of talking points, I'm sure, coming out the games, whether it's the refs, goals, or player. Hopefully, no more injuries. Never like to see a player get injured. But there'll be a lot of talking points from this weekend.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's gonna be a big weekend ahead. We start tomorrow, first kickoff tomorrow. If anyone hasn't done the FPL Fantasy Premier League teams, make sure you go do those fantasy teams, get it in before the deadline. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We appreciate all your
Socials,
support.
guys. Follow us on the socials. Our socials are there and our names. So
Yeah,
mainly Twitter.
big up to everyone. But if nothing else, then big weekend ahead. Look forward to it. Some good games. And we will be back to review once all the games are done. So,
Thanks, guys. I'll see you Monday.
bye.